So, you got your trip planned, or you've got to fly someplace for who knows whatever reason, and you're worried about, being kilted. You don't know which kilt to wear, what to do, and how to deal with the TSA. That's here in the U.S. anyway. Abroad, I don't know, but this video is all about traveling while kilted in the U.S. KT here, Everyday KT number 244. And that's what we're talking about, flying with the TSA. So, as you know, or most of you know, I just flew down to North Carolina over the weekend, and firsthand feedback on how to fly kilted. I have previously given advice that you should use a utility style kilt. Less hassle, less stuff, more pockets, whatever. Well, I am adjusting my advice significantly for a few different reasons. I flew down wearing this kilt, belt. I had my sporin, my Wyvern Leatherworks sporin, kilt pin, and a pair of black duty boots. So, any of you who've been through airport security know that you got to take your boots off anyway, so what you wear on your feet is irrelevant. So this is what I suggest if you're going to do that. You tartan, 2 or 3 buckle, plaid kilt, maybe or whatever material or whatever, but a tartan traditional quote unquote style kilt, not a utility kilt, a UT kilt, a modern utility style kilt. The reason is when you go through the metal detector, a lot of airports have the metal detector and they send you through the body scan only if something keeps coming up. Go through the metal detector with a utility kilt. It does not matter how many times you try, all of the buttons, all of the gear, all of the stuff on that kilt will set off the metal detectors. So you're going to have to go through the body scan every single time. And odds are, based on experience wearing utility style kilts, you're going to wind up having to go off to the room or behind the screen, and they're going to give you the pat down to make sure everything's where it needs to be, and you don't have any stuff hidden where it's not supposed to be. With the traditional kilt, both flying down out of Logan and back out of Raleigh-Durham, I wore the same exact outfit. Reason is, 1, I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong. 2, how do you ignore a guy with a day-glow yellow shirt that says Everyday KT with a kilt walking around the airport? Doesn't happen. So what you do is when you go to these airports, at least in the U.S., and you go to walk through the metal detector, go sideways. Because what they do is they detect metal between the 2 sensors. And these buckles, there's not enough metal on these 2 buckles, or on this buckle on the side, to set the sensor off. If you walk straight through like this, 3 buckles will set it off. If you go sideways, it won't. Now, I had the conversation with the TSA agent both times. I'm like, listen, I've got 3 buckles. This is what's going to happen. He's like, well, if it goes off, it goes off. You got to go through the thing. I'm like, okay, let's try this. So I walked through straight. It went off. I walked backwards. It went off. I turned sideways and went through, and it did not go off. He's like, bingo, you're good. So that was at Logan. And yeah, I mean, and the kilt pin has to come off. Kilt pin has to come off. Take this, put it in your sporin, put the sporin in the bucket. That goes through x-ray. You're fine. On the way back, I did the exact same thing. Same kilt, same belt, everything, all the same gear. Went through security, went through the metal detector straight first time, and I turned sideways, I walked back out. He's like, it didn't go off. Try that again. Went through. He's like, you're good. So that's how you get through without much trouble. Now, it always helps if you talk to the folks in the TSA, because they have a crappy job. And nobody is happy about it, especially when they're training or they are running behind, or heaven forbid the people in line are lazy and late. Screws up the whole works. So traditional kilt, tartan kilt with buckles on the side. Some companies I've seen have actually done these with the fast clips. If you find those, that's even cooler. I haven't seen one that's actually stayed in business for very long, but I do have one kilt that is made with those, and they're awesome. But it's a box pleat kilt, so meh. So TSA, other than that, the TSA was awesome. Lots of great responses from all the people. Sorry about that. Lots of awesome responses at the airport. There was no problems with anybody. But no, before this time, I always flew with utility kilt. Screwed up the works. So I tried it with this, and that is now my permanent recommendation for flying in the U.S. if you want to be kilted. Now, the whole thing about undergarments, hey, that's up to you. Do as you see fit. I'm not going to tell you how to wear your kilt. So if you want to, do. If you don't, don't. Go for it. So, kilt like this one, all the metal stuff goes in the sporin, like your kilt pin, whatever. All that goes in the bucket. So all you have is the 2 or 3 buckles, and go through the metal detector sideways. That will prevent it from going off, and you'll be able to go on your merry way faster than most everybody else there, because they're in too much of a rush to realize that the people working there are just doing their jobs, trying not to get stuff blowed up. So with that, somebody throw up a kiltology. Today's is short because it had a singular purpose in educating people on how to go through the airport security as effectively as possible. And yes, it's just water. So, all right. I'm going to grab 2. Hey, you know what, Angela? I was grabbing for 2 anyway. So, well, so we're talking about the TSA. And as everybody knows who has dealt with them, they know that they can randomly select someone to go get the pat down. Well, Kiltology, Volume 2, it's on Amazon. Kiltology number 433 also has to do with selection, except this one is natural selection. So, oh hey, Nathan, welcome. Glad to see you're doing all right. For those of you who don't know, our good friend Nathan just started watching. He's down in Houston, down with the storm is. That's our good friend Harvey, who is beating the crap out of Texas right now. The fact that he's on watching is awesome. Means things aren't as bad as I thought. So, Kiltology number 433, natural selection. Contrary to popular belief, Darwin did not devise his theory of natural selection over years of observation, study, and research into the habits of species around the world. He concluded his entire body of work in the span of a single weekend in a small kilted community, whilst having a few meals at the local pub. His conclusions were reached as he watched men wearing pants vainly attempt to attract the shapely lasses, and determined that the evolution of the kilted male led to his unwavering victory in his selection of lasses for procreation and continuation of the species. He also determined that the evolution of single malt ran concurrent with the kilt. As the more kilties who arrived, the more wildly varied the selection of single malt became. So what does that mean? That means Darwin's trip to the Galapagos was a vacation. He got everything for all of his books from a pub up in Scotland somewhere. Watching guys in kilts just completely dominate the dating scene. And guys in pants in the same bar sit there humbly by themselves, trying to figure out where in the hell they went wrong because they didn't realize that they didn't have a kilt on. And with that, I'll let you go. It is Sunday night. A vast majority of us have to get our kids ready for school this week up here in New England. Some places of the country, they're already out in school. But I hope all of you have the best. And for those of you down in Texas who are still getting pounded by that storm, I read something, it was like 20-something odd inches in one of my friend's backyards so far. Stay safe. Try to stay dry. And if you need anything, please reach out. You know, post something up in the Brotherhood of the Kilt if your house gets wrecked or if you need a hand or, God forbid, something worse happens. Let us know what's going on down there. Because right now all we've got is what we see on news and all the silliness on Facebook. So, you guys have a good weekend or a good night. Hope tomorrow's awesome. Don't forget the coffee. And be strong. Put a kilt on.